Hell yeah, guys. What is happening? The Capitalist here with GameReplays.org, bringing you another totally awesome tournament game. We got the Dota 2 Replays Brawl Winners Bracket Finals, sponsored by Twitch TV, TeamSpeak, and Steel Series. This is going to be the Complexity Gaming, also known as Team Fire, versus Counter Logic Gaming, aka Team XP Lotus team. It's going to be best of three, and this is the Winners Brackets Finals, so there's a lot on the line. Unfortunately, Chappie his computer blew up or something last night. So instead, with me today, I've got my fellow GR commentator, Hari. Hari, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. I love watching both of these teams, and I think it should be a pretty good game with a lot of money on the line. I mean, obviously, if you win here, you're already on to the finals and a chance to win the $4,000 in the 5 Steel Series. What is it? Mouse pads? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, obviously we got this tournament, but it's also a little bit of a, I mean, Lotus got something to prove here because they actually just lost in the Premier League. Just, I think it was yesterday. Actually, it was probably like 24 hours ago. It was this exact same setup, Complexity versus CLG, and CLG actually lost. They lost kind of hard. And I was looking at the picks, and it looks like CLG had some, Enchantress and Tinker, and they picked up a couple interesting heroes, and Complexity actually ran with the Doom, so it's been a while since we've seen a Doombringer in consistent play. We see him here and there every once in a while, but not really consistent like this, but looks like we're going to have to go over the bans real quick. Enchantress, right out the bat, being banned, of course, Anti-Mage, Shadow Shaman, and Invoker, so both teams very, very aware of what each other like to run with. The Enchantress being banned, keeping away from CLG, and of course Shadow Shaman, a staple of the Complexity team. And it looks like we got the picks coming out. Nature's Prophet, Darkseer, Venomancer on Complexity side. No CLG, you got Chen, Windrunner, Storm Spirit, Hari. What do you think about these this lineup so far?
Well, first of all, I really like that Storm Spirit was already picked up by CLG in the first 3 picks. Storm Spirit's not a hero that's that popular, so you might think that you could swing it in the 4th or 5th pick, but there's a pretty good chance with a Furion first pick you would ban that to prevent the other team from doing that. So nice Storm Spirit, I like that. Furion obviously in the game because they were afraid of the Shadow Shaman from TC. Yeah, I was going to say from coL. That's so game deciding, but interestingly enough, the Darkseer does make it in. Darkseer gets banned a lot these days against, against a lot of teams, but especially against Complexity, who's had a really strong Darkseer play. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting. A lot of imbalanced heroes in the game still, or not necessarily imbalanced. And we've got 2 bans left. Complexity still needing to pick up something of a carry, so I would expect to see some sort of a carry ban from CLG, and looks like CLG needs. They kind of need a carry as well, which is why Nyx was banned. Obviously, Nyx with a Storm Spirit, a strong combo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Got to watch out for the Nyx Storm Spirit bomb combo. That is just incredibly deadly. And it looks like we're looking at our final ban for Complexity. And yeah, I mean, it looks like Complexity has already set themselves up. They've got a pretty versatile lineup already. Like you said, they still need that carry, but they're already set up for. They've already got some push. They already got some counter push. So they're able to defend if necessary. If they're going to go crazy over there, the CLG side with the Chen combined with some other pushers. But it looks like Broodmother is already out of the bat. So that's significant. You've got Furion, who's going to be pushing lanes like crazy, and there's no one there. There's no Broodmother for the other team who's going to be pushing lanes equally. So really, Furion has to step up in the pushing so far, but CLG has got some serious team fight, and in the lanes, of course, early laning phase, Chen is just a monster. I mean, there's no Enchantress in the game, so Chen is just going to be really something to look out for early on, as we see Doom and Beastmaster being banned for CLG. Again, the Doom ban from last game that just destroyed CLG, they're kicking it out of the game. They don't want Complexity running it again.
Yeah, well, obviously, Complexity played it really intelligently against the CLG's Enchantress before using Devour to take the Enchantress creeps, and here, obviously, having Chen, the Doom could play the exact same role. So learning from their mistakes in the Premier League, going to ban out that Doom, just not let that happen. So Complexity actually still does need a mid and a carry-ish, maybe. It's possible that they'll actually have the Furion go mid, though, because they have the Darkseer for the long lane solo, or they could put either of those heroes in the jungle, although it's certainly less common. But, I mean, Furion in the jungle is becoming a little more common these days, so a lot of flexibility in their pickups here. And they do go with the Dragon Knight, so obviously going with a pushing and carry hero fulfills 2 things at once.
Right, absolutely. It looks like pretty much a typical Complexity tri-lane coming out. I mean, like you said, they could run either one of those heroes in the jungle, but that would require another side lane or a mid hero. And I just honestly, Complexity just loves their tri lane so much. I don't really see them going that. It's just really not their forte. They usually just love to go in the tri lane. Of course, Dragon Knight is just so common. I mean, that's how Team Fire came out. So big was they ran Dragon Knight and Skeleton King a lot, and it's just one of their staples. So it looks like waiting on CLG and what they're going to come back with. They still got a lot of supports left in the pool. They already have Chen picked up, so they have their mid and side solos. So they just need that dual lane to come up with the Chen babysitting it in the jungle. And what do you think? What's left on the board? I mean, you've got Vengeful Spirit, which I would think Complexity is wanting to pick that up. But
I think,
really, what's left on the board that you think they're going to pick up?
I think Complexity will actually definitely pick up. Well, I don't know. They do love Vengeful Spirit, but they also love Ancient Apparition. The Ancient Apparition Dragon Knight combo is just so strong. Dragon Knight's stun being long enough that it guarantees the cold feet, so that would be good for their tri lane. Plus, having an Ancient Apparition against a Chen team, the ult being able to stop Chen's heal is really important. So I think it's more likely that they pick up the Ancient Apparition at this point, but could just as easily be the Vengeful Spirit. But speaking of the Vengeful Spirit, I think that would actually be a better pickup for CLG right about now. I think it's the strongest support left in the pool for them, and yeah, do pick up the Vengeful Spirit, which is going to make it pretty easy, I think, for Complexity to pick up the Ancient Apparition here. And then the last pick for CLG, I expect to be some sort of a carry that they're going to put in the top lane with the Vengeful Spirit babysitting and then the Chen in the woods. I don't know exactly what it could be. There's a possibility, I guess, of maybe going for Void, although I'm not sure if they want that much late game. Other than that, what kind of a carry do you think they could pick up?
They're right. There's a lot of open options. I mean, obviously in the late game they can win out, but you're also dealing with the Darkseer, and that is just so hard to deal with late game. So they might want to go something with a little bit mid game power, carry power, and just sort of dominate with ganks and just win in that 35 to 40 minute mark rather than pushing it too late. And of course, you're right. Ancient Apparition being picked up, just a killer of Chen plus Matt coming out from Windrunner, just so deadly. So. Coming out, I don't know. I mean, the things that come to mind. We recently saw Razor being picked up. In what game was it? I think it was in our loser bracket final. I think. I don't know, somebody ran Razor, and it was sort of. It didn't really work out for them very well. But it's the idea is him being that mid game sort of carry who can just dominate. He gets enough tanky items. Just goes through and dominates then. But I don't know. I mean, they can't really nace it out of the pool. So honestly, I don't really see them running a really hard carry. They're just gonna have to dominate in the mid game and just not really, hopefully, just lose the push. Mirana actually coming out. I actually shouldn't be too surprised. Mirana being picked up a lot lately as a mid game carry. Just that lane is gonna be pretty powerful to do double stuns. But you're gonna watch out. That tri lane is just really tough. I'm just not sure if I see CLG winning the laning phase as hard as they should with this lineup.
I don't know. I think CLG should win the laning phase just because Chen it's such an advantage early on. I mean, there's no hero at level 1 or level 2 that's as strong as Chen is. So I think that if the tri lanes do clash, which it will be obvious, I wouldn't say obviously, but most likely in CLG's easy lane, if Complexity wants to face them, because CLG is certainly going to try lane their easy lane here with the Chen. So if it meets there with the Chen advantage, I think CLG should be fine. But I imagine Complexity will probably just try lane their own bottom lane, because the Darkseer, who I expect to be the long lane, especially since, well, it's Stout Shield and regen actually, so he could be going in the jungle here. But if he was going to go with the long lane, which, given that it is Hannah, yeah, and TC's on Furion, so Furion is going to be mid. So yeah, I expect that the Darkseer will be long lane. You don't really want Darkseer to match up 1 versus 1 against a Windrunner. If Darkseer has to match up 1 versus 1 in the side lane, you probably just want it to be maybe against Brood or someone melee like that. Darkseer's not going to have a very good job 1 versus 1 against most heroes. You want him to be 1 versus 3.
Right, absolutely. Windrunner just absolutely crush him. So it looks like both teams in their respective jungles trying to search out for a first blood. Securing the jungle for Chen is, of course, very important. He does already have the smoke, so he's going to be all set up for ganking mid or ganking top. But with the Darkseer, like you said, he's really good as a long lane solo versus a tri lane with that surge. He just sits back, tries to get what experience he can, and get what gold he can with Ion Shell, and he's just able to sit back and really just bide his time. And it looks like Hannah is going to head up. The rune coming out. Haste, actually. So Hannah's going to have to back away. Ward's going up by Vengeful Spirit. So Haste is going to be very nice in lane. Darkseer is going to have to be even more cautious. As it looks like Venomancer is not actually going to be sticking around at bottom. Looks like he's actually going top. So it looks like we're going to see a 2-1-2 coming out, which really AA is enough to put a stop to Windrunner. So I think this is smart by Complexity. You know, really, IX Mike isn't going to be doing a whole lot at bottom. Windrunner is just going to get pushed out of lane by AA. You don't really need that Venomancer there. So him coming in at top to help support this Darkseer as Miracle picks up the haste rune. A little defensive, but what do you think about that, Harry? You think this is going to be worth it, or should they just crush the Windrunner as hard as possible?
Well, I don't know. I think it's not going to be worth it, to be perfectly honest here. Oh, and actually action going to be top. A stun on Hannah into an arrow, but he is going to have the surge, so he's going to easily get out of here, yeah.
Yeah, big surge.
But yeah, as I was going to say, I actually really don't think it's so worth it. It should make it a little bit easier for them to get a little bit of experience, but if CLG manages to go on them, like, they're going to win. They're going to kill someone with the Chen. So maybe they're just doing this because they anticipate a really early push on the lane, which will mean that they can both get experience and means Venomancer will be able to get those wards up earlier and deter further pushes. Because the difference between having 2 people and 3 people in your tri-lane is that you can have one person constantly harassing while the other person's pulling and stacking. Whereas here, like when the Ancient Apparition had to go pull and stack, or stack and pull, I mean, it actually did give the Windrunner a little bit of experience. And now that the Ancient Apparition is up here harassing the Windrunner back, the pull is actually not being pulled. So, I don't know. And as you can see, the Venomancer and Darkseer still aren't getting any experience, although they are going to manage to pull the stack camp, so maybe that'll change around a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really smart play. Cracking open the trees, being able to pull. Unfortunately, it looks like Chen is just nowhere near. He did get a Wildkin, so he's not going to be able to put any real stop to these pull coming out, which is really important. If he had a really more offensive creep, he'd be able to keep that back. They'd be able to pull for themselves from that stack, but unfortunately, he doesn't have that really offensive creep, and it looks like he's just going to sit back and be farming for now. Hopefully, he's going to pick up this Troll Warlord and be able to gank middle with it. That would be really nice ganking hero if he could do that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, honestly, it's just up to Geo at bottom to just keep the lane from pushing. As long as he's just keeping the lane back, AA just can just, you know, stack what he can, obviously. But really, just I don't see them farming in the forest that much. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. But you're right, that is something missing when you only have a dual lane versus solo instead of a tri lane. So it looks like IX Mike is gonna get the pull up, but they are set. Smoke is out. The trap is set. They're going to try and get some sort of gank here. The question is, if IX Mike gets a little bit too close, he's going to be in some serious trouble. And it looks like they're coming out, but IX Mike is back in time. Great job. Very cautious play. Not trying to get arrow coming out, but that misses. Actually, it hits Hannah, but it's going to be nothing doing there. Meanwhile, looking at the creep score, let's see how middle's doing. 16-5 for Patchcat right now, while TC is 10-2. So, interesting enough, TC actually losing the middle lane pretty hard right now. CS, of course, illusions on Storm Spirit, plus the just the natural nuking abilities of Storm Spirit is very hard to contend with as a Nature's Prophet when coming to CS. But still, a little bit interesting. TC usually doesn't lose his lane like that.
Yeah, TC, a great solo mid. Just want to point out real quick, it actually is Pycat, not Patchcat. Chappie made the same mistake.
I've heard that before. You know what? European spellings, none of it. I won't have it.
No. Well, fair enough.
All right, Pycat.
Yeah, well, Storm is a slightly stronger solo, I think, than the Furion. Obviously, they both have great attack animations, but Storm just has the abilities that he can actually use to harass and last hit a little bit, whereas Furion basically has nothing. But you really don't care if the Furion's a little bit behind, because the advantage you're going to get from having him TP around and get ganks up should more than make up for it. And meanwhile, actually, let's see. Miracle actually doesn't have any tangos on him, which is kind of unfortunate. As Vengeful Spirit at this point in the game, you kind of want to have at least 3 tangos on you to make sure that if the Furion does TP on you, you can easily eat out. He's got 500 gold, so I mean, I'm sure he's about to buy boots or something, but I would really like to see him just send himself some tangos if he has a chance with a courier. But other than that, actually, Windrunner has been completely kept out of the lane. So the dual lane top did work. I was a little bit wrong about that. But again, like you were saying, it was just kind of because the Chen didn't really... I mean, he kind of had bad luck with creeps early on. And so they weren't able to go get the kill right at level 1. They had to wait a little bit longer. And if he had just had something, yeah, like a Centaur or a Troll Warlord or a Catman from level 1, then it would have been easier to gank.
Right, and now that they're both level 3, they're going to be easily set up to defend from pushes from Chen. So really, that's really out of the option. Furion teleporting at top. Looks like they catch the Vengeful Spirit, but she doesn't have any tangos to eat herself out. So she's going to be potentially no vacuum coming out. So just a little bit of harassment. Actually, Miracle turning around. They're going to try and kill the IX Mech on Venomancer. Chen teleport. Is it going to make it in time? One more hit. Yes. Vengeful Spirit does go down, but it's 3v2 now with the Troll Warlord. Maybe gonna pick up a couple more kills. Hannah, 1 or 2 more hits. He's gonna pick that up. Nice pick up, 1 more hit on Ake. TC almost there. Big arrow coming out from Loda. And so they pick up, I believe, what, 4 heroes? 3 heroes?
Yeah, 3 for 1.
CLG picks up 3 heroes for 1. Really great job. That was almost 3 for 2. Ake just barely getting out with like 20 health. But really great response by CLG to the Furion ganks. Furion ganks are so hard to deal with, but CLG was all ready for it. Their absolute Storm Spirit was set, and now Storm Spirit being level 7 is going to be all the more set. With that ultimate, he's just going to be on top of these Furion ganks, hopefully. Just with good vision and good communication, CLG is going to be really set for all these potential ganks from Complexity. So now, Complexity... Whereas I was going to say Complexity was in the lead with their top lane winning so well. With that recent team fight, Complexity a little bit behind now. Really, I just foresaw that top was just going to get kind of destroyed by a Chen tri-lane, but because it did so well, they hit their level 3 marks, they're able to defend. But now, instead, Storm Spirit is level 6. He's got some good farm on him. He's got some good levels on him. He's going to be able to come into the game fairly soon and put a stop to this Dragonite farming away. Already doing half damage to the tower, so Windrunner, only level 3. Looking at the gold graph, a little bit above 1,000 in the lead for CLG.
Yeah, interesting. IX Mike actually deciding to forego getting 1 point in Poison Sting, going 2 points in wards early on. So clearly they were expecting the Chen to push to come very early on in that top tier 1 tower, and so he was maxing wards as soon as possible to try to hold it off. And that could have had a little bit of an effect on that team fight. Fortunately, they did get the Vengeful Spirit kill just about a second before, or half second even, before he got TP'd out by the Chen. The Poison Sting could have been the difference there. But actually, speaking of kills, looks like there is going to be a smoke gank coming in on mid. Vengeful Spirit and Windrunner, and actually Chen is coming in behind as well, so it should be pretty easy for them to get a kill here with Storm Spirit having full mana. If he wants, he can just jump in. But TC knows what's going on here, so he's going to be wise to it, back up a little bit, but instead they can just push the tower with Chen if they want. Yeah. So, but Furion actually doing something really smart and just TPing bot instead, acknowledging, yeah, if I stay here, I'm just going to die, so I'm just going to take this bottom tower while you guys take mid.
Yeah, absolutely. IX Mike actually trying to throw some wards up, backing up just in time to dodge the Storm Spirit grab. Great job by him. He's going to try and defend middle with what he can, stalling for time while Complexity goes for 2 towers. Dragonite popping his ultimate, and this is going to be a lot of damage on the tier 2 towers. Not really worth for CLG to trade 1 tower for 2, so they're going to have to teleport, but it doesn't look like there are any teleports up for CLG at all, so they're going to give up 2 towers for 1. Really big play by Complexity, really great movement, identifying that middle was going to get ganked by TC. Really great job for him playing cautious like that, and then on top of that, pushing both tier 1 and tier 2 towers at bottom. Really great job by Complexity. That puts them right back where they should be. Looks like the goal difference is evened out now. So with that little simple movements, little plays like that, Complexity is right back evened out with CLG.
Yeah, and Dragonite is certainly going to be a stronger carry in the mid game with the amount of farm he's gotten compared to the Mirana. So that is going to be a problem they're going to have to contend with soon enough. Dragonite already finishing his treads, I think quite close to finishing off his Vanguard as well, which I assume he's going to go since he just picked up the Ring of Health. But there should be some big Chen pushes coming in pretty soon here. Chen level 5, so he'll already have 2 creeps, and pretty soon having his 3rd creep. So there should be a couple more towers that are quick to go down go down of Complexity's towers for CLG. But again, that's just the power of the Furion. They're going to try to split push whenever they get pushed in by the Chen, because you know early on you really can't fight a fight against a Chen. So that's why Furion is so strong in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, movement is so key when going up against a Chen, just because Chen is just, I mean, he can't teleport anywhere. He does have the global presence, but besides that, whatever lane he's in, he's sort of stuck because he's all about his creeps early on. And you know, you're right. This is a really great play so far by Complexity. They're really identifying what weaknesses the CLG lineup has, and they're exploiting them very, very well. So it looks like CLG is going to be pushing top tier 1 tower. IXMake running forward, going to try and throw some wards, delay the push as much as possible. But it doesn't look like... No, here comes the teleports. Teleports in from Geo.
Yeah, there was a
out,
surge on IXMake, but yeah, they're not going to catch anyone.
Yeah, TC even teleported in, but CLG very wisely teleported back really quickly, moved back away from the gank. But now Complexity is completely committed to this push now. They all teleported top, and why not make something out of it? They didn't get any kills, but they can push this tier 1 tower. It looks like CLG is going to fight for it. We don't have Storm Spirit, but he does have a teleport. So once this team fight gets going, we'll see a teleport from him fairly soon.
Yeah, and he's teleporting in right now, so they're going to try to catch someone. Arrow actually does hit on Geo.
Huge pickup, and it looked like the ultimate coming out from Loda, trying to help him. Surge coming out, saving him. And Miracle is not level 6, so no swaps coming out. So both teams playing very, very well. Really cautious from both teams, backing up what they need to. Right when the other team is ready to force a team fight, and they have the advantage. The other team backs up, and that shows that both these teams very well acquainted to each other and each other's style of play so far.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure that was a misplay from Pycat. You said he had a TP on him, and he doesn't anymore. And if you notice, he actually didn't TP into that top fight. And I saw 2 TP things coming up there. Speaking of Pycat, though, he is going to gank TC bottom. He has double damage, so TC is definitely going to be going down. Oh, accidentally misclicks the creep, but he's still going to just barely get it in time. But yeah, so I think he must have accidentally canceled his TP, because I can't think of any reason why he wouldn't have wanted to TP in there. If he had TP'd in, they would have had a lot more damage. The problem was they were just about a little damage short of finishing JO off on that really nice arrow. So if Pycat had been there, especially, I think he had he had picked up a DD rune bottom too, so it certainly would have been enough, and they would have won that fight. So I have to assume that was just a misclick, although I didn't see it precisely.
Yeah, I agree, unless it was some really fast communication. Arrow coming out on Geo, but really nothing they can do about it. Storm Spirit did get the push going on bottom, so that is happening. He's going to teleport to top. He does have a haste, so he's going to be there at top when he's needed, but it looks like Complexity is going to back off. They're not going to try and keep pushing this tower, and it looks like TC is just going to go back to farming at bottom. So looking at the gold graph, again in the favor of the Dire by about 1,000, but more importantly, a Geo, 350 gold per minute, highest gold per minute in the game, and that's really just the biggest thing right now, is if your carry has the highest GPM, you probably have the advantage, and Geo has definitely been farming away like a boss, and it looks like he is going to be picking up his Vanguard right now. So actually, right as he gets dived by Pycat, he's getting the stun. They're trying to take him down. A couple more hits, he does go down. So right before he picks up his Vanguard, they get a nice gank on him. Really great play by CLG, utilizing the movement by Storm Spirit, that ability just to be able to jump in and get that early disable so everyone else can follow up. Really great job by Pycat.
Yeah, well, it's a great ability to coordinate with the Mirana, too, because obviously Mirana can arrow from a little bit further off right as the Storm Spirit's jumping in. You know, the Storm Spirit can pull the person so that they're going to get hit by the arrow. So not exactly what happened there, but in general, just good movement. Obviously, they have good ranged initiation, even though they don't have like necessarily an initiator. I mean, you have Storm Spirit, who is kind of an initiator, but as the game progresses, you really don't want him jumping in first. You'd rather kind of have him jump in once the fight starts. But as far as just pickoffs go, they have really good ranged initiation with the swap from VS, Storm Spirit jumping in, Mirana arrows, and they've been doing a good job, obviously using that tornado from Chen, which gives vision, to set up the Mirana arrows. It's been some really cute play.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a little bit of pause here. Storm Spirit picking up his Ogre Club. We'll go over items. Chen with his Arcane Boots. I don't see a whole lot else. Everyone else has got pretty much their basic items. Like I said, Geo is just waiting on his Vitality Booster once he gets alive. And Hannah as well has Arcane Boots. Both teams set up to spam as much as possible.
Interesting Ogre Club first pickup on Pycat. I guess he's really worried about the stun from Dragon Knight. I assume that's going into a BKB. I can't think of what else he would possibly be turning that into. So kind of an slightly unusual pickup. I mean, you usually don't see BKB first item on Storm. You would see, I mean, possibly a Lincoln's or, you know, Sheepstick or something like that, but it is going to be the BKB, I think. So I don't know. Why do you think he's going for that first? Just because of the fear of that really long Dragon Knight stun when he jumps in, which has good range now from the buff on the Dragon Tail, or?
Yeah, I mean, that buff is very huge. And on top of that, you mentioned Lincoln's, and I think a big reason why he's not going for that in any point is because you do have a Venomancer and an AA, so both of those you're going to have to deal with a lot of magic damage, and anytime you've got really mobile, squishy heroes, intelligent heroes like Storm Spirit, like, you know, any of those heroes, Venomancer is really big a problem to deal with. If you get caught in both the poison and the ultimate, you're looking at, you know, really close to death just by that. And then on top of that, any other AoE that's going down. So a combination of the stun is a big reason, and then I think just the excess magic damage coming out from complexity is just the biggest reason. It looks like we do have smoke coming out. Chen and Vengeful Spirit both coming out. They're trying to get a gank, but they're all grouped up. They're running right into a trap. Arrow comes out and completely misses. Looks like they're going to try and pass. Axe Might goes down. Pycat comes in. He's trying to take out TC and then get out. Mirana ulti going down, trying to sell people. Big arrow coming out from Windrunner, finishing off TC. Couple more hits. Anna. Geo's trapped. He's blocked by the Chen creeps. Great job by Chen. They're trying to take him down. One more hit, and there he goes. Hannah now has to get away. TC actually coming back in. Stun coming out. Hannah, one or two more hits. They're catching Complexity left and right. This is so bad. Complexity going down. Pycat getting away just in time from the AA. Nuke as Fluff is now in trouble. Leaping in. Loda, can he catch him? No, he's not going to be able to catch him. Fluff is going to be able to get out just in time. But huge plays for CLG. What a great team fight. I thought that was going to go wrong at first when Vengeful Spirit and Chen by themselves were going in. But the CLG team, Mirana and Storm Spirit jumping in just in time. Windrunner getting in there kind of late, but still in time. They lived long enough. They were able to get things off. AAL trying to go up, trying to pick off somebody. But it didn't work. But really great job by CLG. Really well executed team fight there.
Yeah, great Windrunner Shackle Shot. I mean, that's why this hero is so popular right now, is because that ability is just so strong. Catching the Furion just made a huge difference in that team fight. Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that when they weren't able to bring down that Venomancer initially at the start of the fight, that it would really be bad for them. I assumed that the Venomancer would get off an ult before he died, and then it would lead to you know, maybe a team wipe. But Venomancer only level 5, so that was a big factor, not being able to get that really powerful ult off. And then yeah, just nice movement from the Storm Spirit jumping around in the fight. So it worked out well overall, even though it was kind of a poor original initiation, I would say. And meanwhile, Pycat actually does pick up a tower bottom, but Complexity is going to counter with a smoke gank, potentially on the Chen top, although it looks like Chen might know what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah, smoke coming out, but he's going to have to be really careful. Oblivion Staff actually picking up by Storm Spirit, so he is not going to be picking up a really fast BKB, instead opting to pick up that Oblivion Staff. Meanwhile, looking at him, looks like they're just going to go through the jungle searching for anybody to pick off. Maybe loop around middle here. No, pinks come out. Maybe we're just going to, I don't know, wander around in the jungle. I really think they should just start pressing towers. They need that little bit of extra gold. Pycat picking up that bottom tier 1 tower on top of the team fight going so poorly for them. I think they need to go back to what they were doing really well in the early game, was all about movement, pushing towers when they can, and just utilizing Furion the best way they can. And so I think they should be avoiding team fights a little bit right now. But it looks like they are going to set up for middle, see if they can sneak something in here. Surge coming out from Geo. They're going to get it fast. Pycat going down instantly. One more hit. Vacuum barely dodging the AA ult, but still gets them anyway. Miracle is trapped. They're going to pick up that kill. So CLG is just going to have to back up, try and minimize their losses as much as possible. 2 quick pickups by the Complexity team. Really well executed gank. That stun followed up by, I thought for a second there he was going to be able to get out since the AA ult didn't click, but Shackle Shot, really great job by Pinoy, but he's not going to be able to follow anything up with that. Arrow missing. So 5 minnow up for Complexity. They're going to be able to do a little bit of damage to the tower here. The question is, I don't think they're going to be able to take it. With Loda being full health and teleports coming in, Chen ulti coming in, huge shackle shot coming out. They're going to take down TC easily with Chen creeps 1, 2, 3, and there goes Venomancer ult coming out, trying to do what work. Loda being teleported away just in time before the Venomancer ult can kill him. Huge play. Denies coming out, dodging the AA ults, and it looks like everyone else is going to live. Man, that damage coming out from the combination of Darkseer, Vacuum, with Venomancer being able to hit Venomous Gale on so many heroes on top of his ult, that was just did so much damage. But CLG minimized their losses very, very well, barely teleporting Mirana out before he died. Great job by Chen, and then also getting them to deny. So really well played by CLG, stopping that deadly combo.
Yeah, great initiation to pick up the Storm Spirit there, which was the reason why Complexity was able to turn basically nothing into something, all from that excellent surge on the Dragon Knight running forward, knowing that he needed to use the Dragon form to be able to catch the Storm Spirit before he got away with that amazing 400 range on his ridiculous stun. So yeah, great pick off there, and then they were able to turn that into a relatively decent team fight. Obviously, CLG minimizing their losses very effectively at the end there, against that Darkseer Venomancer combination, which is only going to get stronger as the game progresses. If Venomancer can get level 11 at some point in this game, which he really needs to be concerned with getting, I mean, it's fine with him playing hard support early on, but at some point he needs to start picking up levels, because he really is a level-dependent carry. Not carry, level-dependent support. Certainly not a carry, but he still does need some levels, because basically he's a mid-game damage hero. He doesn't do anything in the late game, really, at all. And in order to have that presence in the mid-game, which you would want him to have, he needs to have those levels. Obviously, the first part of that is getting the wards up, but then after that, it's getting that ult to a higher level, especially when you're relying on it with the Darkseer combo a lot. But gonna have a smoke gank here, going in towards the mid. This time there's a ward up for CLG, so if someone comes too close to a hero, they will spot these guys. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Looks like they're going to maybe rotate top. They do have a ward behind the tower top, which is going to give vision of the two heroes by themselves up here. However, both these heroes are rather difficult heroes to catch out. Windrunner, unfortunately, not finishing up her 4-staff just yet. So might be caught here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it looks like Geo being able to throw his stun. Teleports coming, a huge shackle shot before the stun comes out. They're going to combo stuns easily. Geo, 1, 2, 3, Gale coming out. Geo's going to go down, AA ult missing everyone. And it looks like CLG is completely going to turn this around. They're now chasing in. TC is going to run right into the Chen. Meanwhile, Mirana chasing away. Mirana does get the cold feet on him. Fluff gets shackle shotted again. Hannah trying to do what work he can, but he's not going to be able to do enough. He's just going to have to back away now. He might be the next Nick victim, as IX Mike is going to go down to Storm Spirit. 1, 2, 3. Now the final pickup. Hannah does go down, so TC is the only hero left to escape. 4 kills for CLG. What a huge turnaround. Really great. That shackle shot was beautiful. Stopped the stun. They weren't able to pop the Windrunner like they planned. And then on top of that, the teleports. Really great movement by CLG.
Yeah, and just Storm Spirit being just incredible so far in this game. There's just, like I said, the reason why I thought that Storm Spirit would get the BKB was because of the Dragon Knight stun, because usually what you're really concerned with as a Storm Spirit is someone who has the ability to lock you down. And on the Radiant, the only hero who can really do that is Dragon Knight. I mean, obviously, if Ancient Apparition gets you in his ult for long, or in his cold feet for long enough, but that's extremely unlikely as a Storm Spirit. So without that ability to really lock down the Storm Spirit's really just ripping their team apart. And you kind of have to think that they knew the Storm Spirit pick would be coming with the first pick Furion, because it's a very common counter these days. So, I don't know. They're just really not very prepared for it, and that's been the big deciding factor in the teamfights. Because actually, not everything in that teamfight was very well executed. Actually, the Chen ult came out really early and only healed the Storm Spirit. But I guess that just shows how much they're prioritizing keeping that Storm Spirit. Oh, wait, no, actually didn't heal even the Storm Spirit. Actually just healed the Windrunner. I forgot that was the one actually they went on first in this fight. So, yeah, just basically really good execution from CLG in general, especially from Pycat, who's just playing an amazing game so far. And gonna have a smoke gank with him and Miracle in the woods looking for someone, but there's no one in there they're going to catch. So just gonna throw down a ward and probably retreat back out.
Yeah, and it looks like we got a little bit of a lull going on. We'll go over some items. It looks like TC does have his 4-staff.
Actually, Miracle might get caught out here by TC. Oh, wow, look at how close these two are to each other. With Storm Spirit that close, it would be very possible to initiate on TC here if they see him, but no, it doesn't happen. Sorry to cut you off. Continue.
Oh, no, absolutely. what else? Hannah is going to be able to pick up his mech fairly shortly here, so that's going to be huge. Mirana does have Manta already. Push stick on Windrunner, and then on top of that, Pycat is very close to his Orchid. So I like how the fact that he did get that Orchid Club early on, and if necessary, if they kept losing fights, I think he probably would have gotten a fast BKB, but the way the game changed with just that one team fight that went on, and then after that it kind of snowballed, that they're able to go much more offensive, and because of that, Pycat does have the initial tankiness of Orchid Club, which is very nice, but now is also going to get Orchid fairly soon. That's going to be a huge factor in team fights. If Pycat is able to get that on, really fast initiation, followed up by a silence, that's just going to be devastating for Complexity. So I like the way he changed up his items to suit what is happening in the game, and it looks like really that's the only items left. Actually, Chen is going to be able to pick up his mech as well fairly soon. So both teams going to be getting their support items and do have some nice offensive items. Really, Geo is the only one missing out. He has Vanguard and Cloak, so he does have that big tankiness, but it just hasn't been enough. Every single time he just gets targeted, he just gets a little bit too far out there, and just all 5 of CLG collide on him very, very well, and he just is not surviving long enough.
Yeah, CLG trying to steal Roche here, but Complexity knows what's up, sending in the Treants. But the question will be actually whether they can contest this or not. The Ancient Apparition ult is going to fly in and do a bit of damage, but Loda doing a smart enough job in evading that. Looks like they might just be able to take this uncontested. I don't know if the defense will come in time. But anyway, yeah, the Oblivion stat, or getting the Orchid will be so huge for CLG. I assume they're going to want to try to focus down that the Darkseer at the beginning of a team fight if they can with the silence, so the Darkseer can't get his really huge team fight abilities off. And if that happens, it'll obviously be really good. Looks like they're going to go in here, actually. Picking up Roshan in the back end. Storm Spirit actually blinking in right on top of IX Mike. Going to take out IX Mike probably by himself. He has the Aegis, so he doesn't really care if he dies. Eating a big stun from Jo here. And he is finally just going to go down after doing a little more damage. TC going to go down as well. No, actually TC just barely making it out. Meanwhile, though, Mirana coming in. Mirana wants to chase after the Furion, but not being able to. Really nice vacuum from the Darkseer there. Pulling 3 into the... Or no, actually just 1 into the Ancient Apparition. I thought I caught more. Shackle Shot, though, on Jo is going to finish him off. Meanwhile, Storm Spirit back up from the Aegis is going to come in and finish off the Ancient Apparition. And again, TC on Furion is the only one who survived that fight, with only Vengeful Spirit as a casualty.
Yeah, that was really well executed. I really like the way Storm Spirit picking up the Aegis. He stayed long enough to finish off Roshan, obviously. But CLG forcing the fight away from Roshan a little bit, and then the minute Storm Spirit got that Aegis, he just ran in, charged all the way in, popped that Venomancer. Venomancer was forced to back away, and was not able to ult anything. He had to blow his ult before he died, and all he hit was the Storm Spirit. So the Storm Spirit forcing the fight so far behind Complexity's lines, it wasn't anywhere near Roshan. He brought the fight directly to them and saved the rest of his team a lot of damage, and popped that Aegis very, very well. So he does have his Orchid. Also a regen now. You gotta love that on a Storm Spirit. That is just so good.
Yeah, it's an
amazing
item to pick up on, or amazing rune to pick up on a Storm Spirit when you have that bottle. Being able to pop that at any point, either being able to use that just to initiate from really far, popping it before you blink in from a really long distance, or in the middle of a team fight, blinking out, throwing up the regen, and then coming right back in at full health and mana. Just ridiculous on him. But yeah. Basically, CLG is really just controlling this mid-game in a way that I didn't expect. And if you take a look, actually, one of the big things is Jo in the early game was farming better than anyone else in the game at 380 gold per minute, I think he was at some point. And now he's down to 270. Basically, he's just had a terrible mid-game, and you wouldn't expect that from a Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight, a great mid-game carry. And then, obviously, once he gets to the level 16... Oh, action on TC. TC going to get caught out here. I didn't see how that happened.
Yeah, just a really well-executed gank going around the vision. Great job by Vengeful Spirit. Complexity trying to respond with some teleports, but not able to pick up anything here. So you're right, CLG is in complete control of the map, and even late game they don't really have to worry a whole lot. I mean, Darkseer just now picking up mech. He's not going to be able to get an Aghanims anytime soon, and really Dragon Knight isn't strong enough to really benefit from an Aghs on Darkseer. So the late game, well, I think that really, really late game is going to go Complexity's way. I think they have plenty of time. I think they have a good 30-35 minutes to push down and finish these racks one by one. So I think CLG is in a beautiful position. I think really they just have to be careful and just not overplay. Oh man, I thought that AAL was gonna hit that Storm Spirit. So yeah, I think as long as they just take their time and slowly push, I think they have plenty of time, and there's no reason to rush it. So CLG in a very good position right now. Complexity trying to play catch up as much as possible. Dragonite was farming bottom as much as he could. They just completely gave up the tower. Nothing really they could do about it at this point, since they are so far behind. The gold lead 10,000, over 10,000 in the lead of CLG, so they're just so far behind. They got to play a lot of catch up right now, while also watching out for Storm Spirit ganks. Is Fluff trying to get a war down, gets cleaned up completely by Storm Spirit.
Yeah, the one thing they do have going for them is that they have the Furion, who's really good at split pushing. But the problem is, against a Storm Spirit, it's actually very difficult to split push with a Furion, because you fear him being able to jump in from anywhere and take you out. So the one strength that they would really have for turtling up this game and turning it into a really late game, which would be defending with the Venomancer, setting up the wards wherever you see the push coming, while Furion side pushes the lane and then TPs in when the fight goes, actually isn't as much of a possibility for them because, again, of that Storm Spirit pick. So really, between Storm Spirit's play and the pick as the hero in general in this matchup, definitely the MVP, I would think, in this game so far. And yeah, it's really favoring CLG. CLG just being so methodical too. I mean, normally in a game where you have Chen, you would expect to see a lot of towers go down early on, but they didn't really take many at all. They took that one in the middle, and I mean that was the first tower they took. It wasn't that early into the game, and then they didn't take any more for a while. But they were just kind of biding their time, being patient, looking for the pickoffs, and then turning the pickoffs into push rather than just trying to force the push outright.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just goes to the versatility of their lineup. I think if the early game had gone a little bit better, if they hadn't given up so much to that top lane, they probably could have pushed towers a little bit faster. But you're right. I mean, they changed what their strategy was. I believe they changed their strategy up with how the game went, and it's working. I mean, they decided, okay, we can't really push these towers as fast. They just let Chen farm, and now they're just dominating the mid game with just really good movement and really good team fights. And Storm Spirit is just the key factor. You're absolutely right. He now picked up his BKB on Storm Spirit, so he's going to be so hard to kill. He's going to be just doing lots and lots of work. Pipe on Windrunner, Demon Edge now on Mirana, so she's going to be picking up some serious damage fairly soon. And really, the rest of the Complexity team just really doesn't have a whole lot to deal with all these items picked up by CLG.
Yeah, I see the Darkseer does have a hood, cloak, sorry. Do you think he is going to maybe go for a pipe on the team to counteract some of that magic damage, or do you think he'll go straight to the Aghanims next since he's already so far behind?
Honestly, I think he's going to have to go pipe. I think they really need teamfight items. I mean, they're just getting crushed right now due to lack of gold, so whatever teamfight items they can get, they really need to be able to grab. Since no one else is really in a position to get it right now, unless they have Dragonite sacrifice his farm in order to grab it. But I really think, the base pushes are coming up, and they just really have to have those team fight items for the upcoming fights. So, whether Dragonite or Darkseer, one of them is going to have to get it.
Yeah, also, actually, something I wanted to say, you know that the game's going pretty well for you when your Vengeful Spirit has a Vitality booster. Not normally seeing that. It's a little bit of a delayed, or really luxury item, if not very delayed core item. I don't really know what you consider core on Vengeful Spirit. I mean, I would assume actually it would be a point booster, not a Vitality booster, though, because going into the Aghanims, if possible. But really just wanting that more health. Being a support against an Ancient Apparition is always very annoying because you have such a low health pool, and basically if you take any damage, you risk popping from the AA ult. And with the Furion plus AA ult, I guess it makes sense to just prioritize that health even a little bit higher and get the Vitality booster. But yeah, I mean, the other thing, the other situation in which you have control of the game is when instead of farming your own jungle, you're farming the enemy's jungle, which is exactly what you need to do when you're ahead in a game. Just not give the other team any room to breathe. Like, they're keeping these lanes kind of pushed out. I mean, maybe not quite as pushed as you would expect, but it's obviously quite difficult against a Furion to keep the lanes completely pushed. But then while the lanes are pushed, when you can't farm the lanes, just farm the opposing team's jungle. And then all they're really left with is just farming the lanes when they come to their base. They don't have a lot of vision on the map. The Radiant has vision up at the top lane ward, which is a little bit strange to me because there's not even a tower left there, so I'm not really sure what that ward is going to show. And then just one ward in the middle, but no wards at all in their jungle area, so it's really difficult to even move through that area at all for fear of ganks, especially with the Storm.
Yeah, Complexity sacrificing their tier 2 tower for a little bit of farm. They just can't force these fights. Daedalus now picked up on Mirana. I was going to mention something. Oh, that's right, Gem on Chen. Gem being picked up, that is a huge play. They're going to have complete control of the map. They don't have to worry about counter wards or missing some really obscure ward. As long as they're there within vision of the ward, they're going to be able to kill it. And so that's going to be really big. I mean, Complexity is already having a really tough time finding places to farm. If they don't have vision, they're going to be so scared of Storm Spirit, they're not going to be able to move out of the base, really. Every single time they do try and get some farm, it's going to be a huge risk, and you have to wonder, is it worth it? And honestly, Complexity, with as far behind as they are, they're just going to have to start taking really big risks in order to get some farm and maybe a couple pickoffs. Hopefully we're going to see some smoke or something, because really I'm not sure how Complexity is going to be able to live, because they are just going to be starved for farm little by little.
Yeah, well, and if you take a look, like I was saying, the Venomancer needs levels, and that's the complete opposite of what he got. Venomancer's still only level 7. I mean, Windrunner's picked up a pipe, which would be strong if Venomancer was a little bit stronger. At this point, it's almost just overkill, because the Venomancer ult is really just basically not going to do anything with the amount of health that heroes have at this point. So, like, earlier in the game, it was really good play by the Storm Spirit to force the Venomancer ult away from his team. Now, with Venomancer still stuck on a level 1 ult at 34 minutes into the game, it's really just not even an issue at this point. And then, obviously, with the pipe, it's just going to be completely counteracted. Obviously, the pipe will help against the Ancient Apparition ult as well, but Ancient Apparition only level 9, so it's also just a level 1 ult. And, I mean, just having low levels on your supports is just really painful. I mean, that's one of the problems with the tri-lane strategy, which they actually didn't run this time, so you would expect to see slightly better levels on their supports, but it's just that they've been so pressured that the supports really haven't had anywhere to get experience, because basically anytime there has been any farm to give to someone, they've had to give it to the Furion or Jo. Obviously, really prioritizing at this point getting Jo to level 16. Once he hits level 16 with that Frost Dragon, maybe standing a chance in the team fights, but I'm still not so sure about that, because Frost Dragon's really good against melee carries and people that would want to kite you or something like that, but Mirana, with Leap, is just going to be able to get away from you anyway, and then you're going to have to pick another target, and Storm Spirit's just going to blink around, so it's not going to really be too good at focusing down either of those two heroes, and basically everyone else isn't really a high priority for you to kill. Chen's going to get his ult off before you would catch him usually anyway, because he's going to be in the back. Vengeful Spirit obviously can just swap away. The one would be the Windrunner, but Windrunner with Windrun is still just going to avoid all the attacks anyway, so yeah, I don't really know. I know that's kind of what they're going for at this point, because you can see that he's basically gotten all their levels, but I'm just not sure that it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, Complexity picks up, or CLG, sorry, not Complexity, picks up another Roshan kill. Completely uncontested. Complexity knew that it was happening, but there was nothing they could do about it just because of their lack of vision in their jungle area in the middle of the map.
Right, and you identified all those mitigating factors of why Frost Dragon is going to be as strong as it usually is, and they're even going to push before he even gets to that. So he's going to have the Fire Dragon coming up for this push. Aegis, Daedalus, everything is up on CLG for them to push. So as long as they execute very, very well, Chen is also going to be picking up an Aghanim's fairly soon. But honestly, AA ult is just not going to do a whole lot. I mean, when you're so close to the base, you don't have that huge AoE, so it's only going to hit a couple of heroes. On top of that, CLG doesn't have to force, fast and furious fights. They can just sit back and push little by little, and just, every single time they get hit by an AA ult, they can just back up, wait for it, Chen can heal them, and then they can start all over again, which is exactly what they're doing right now. Even with the massive amount of wards and hype actually coming out, so they are going to jump in. Storm Spirit jumping in on IX Mike. IX Mike is still going to get, no, he doesn't get his ult off at all. BKB Highcat is just running all over things. He is going to get out with 200 health left. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is fighting for him. Geo trying to do what work he can, but honestly, stun coming out. Hannah grouping them all out together, but two heroes go down completely for free. Nobody on CLG dies at all. Darkseer wall is up, so they can just back up, heal up, and they'll be 5-manning that tower again fairly soon. And Darkseer won't have an ult this time.
Yeah, great composure by CLG there. I mean, that's one of the things that really separates and I've said this before, but the mid-tier teams from the top-tier teams is just that decision-making process of knowing exactly when to back up, because a lot of teams like to be greedy and like to kind of overextend, but they knew. The Darkseer wall was up, so it was hard for them to keep pressuring the mid-base, and they were pretty low. Even though they'd taken 2 heroes and they were up 5-3, there's no reason to turn a small victory into a crushing defeat when you're in the lead. You know, just taking chunks of the gap and expanding it even a little bit further is enough to win the game eventually. Like, you don't need to pressure it that much, because like you said, even though complexity has the inevitability eventually, like you said, it's going to be, well, from then it was 35 minutes. From now it's going to be at least another 20 minutes or 25 minutes before that inevitability really kicks in. And the amount of farm CLG is getting versus complexity, I mean, that might not even necessarily be inevitability. So CLG can just be calm, collected, and have good decision making. And then, yeah, like you said, they've already done a fair amount of damage, bringing that tier 3 tower down to half, and they'll group back up again with that Aegis and push in.
Yeah, let's see. Going over items, pipe being picked up on Geo. So they did have to sacrifice his farm in order to get some more team fight items. TC does have a Scythe of Ice, so that's fairly helpful. Hannah is going to be going for his items. He has an Ogre Club, but he is so far behind on that. Drums on IX Mike. Let's see what else CLG have. I'm sure there are more items. I just don't see them. I mean, BKB actually picked up on Loda, so that's the newest item, I believe. A lot of ultimate orbs coming out, but other than that, BKB is the biggest item that came out on the CLG side. But on top of that, we're looking at 10 gold away from an Aghanims on Chen, so that's going to be huge. Every 30 seconds, a 400 heal. Well, he's actually not 16 yet, so just a 300 heal. Every 30 seconds. So they can just static push over and over and over and just do what work they can. They take a little bit of damage, they back up, they heal, do it all over again. And there's not a whole lot that complexity can do about that. I mean, really, the biggest factor is Wall of Replica on Darkseer in these pushes. And really, the strategy really addresses that very well. I mean, Wall of Replica is only up for, I believe, 30 seconds. Yes, he's level 11, so it's 30 seconds, and it has a 100-second cooldown. So that's 70 seconds where you can get a push in, and the Wall of Replica is down. So these static pushes are great for identifying the weaknesses in Darkseer games with the Wall of Replica defending pushes.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised CLG. Oh wait, Storm Spirit, he hasn't quite picked up the Scythe of Ice. I actually expected that they would wait to get his Scythe of Ice picked up before they would push in again here. I mean, they're gonna have the Aegis for long enough. I didn't really think they would try to force this, but actually, yeah, he does have enough. He's gonna go pick it up right now. I think he has to sell his bottle. Yeah, he's gonna drain one last charge from it, sell it, and then pick it up. And they are gonna push in here now with that Scythe of Ice pickup. But yeah, like you said, the Ancient Apparition ult was the kind of the one thing that almost deterred them a little bit, because honestly, if they hadn't had to use the Chen ult before they pushed in, they would have been able to use it when they were kind of all at half health there after killing 2 heroes, and that would have been Rex. But because they had to use the Chen ult before, thanks to the Ancient Apparition ult, it did mean that they had to back off without taking anything serious. But now that he has that ult staff, like you said, they're just going to be able to go out, heal, and go right back in again. And actually going to jump over to the side, throwing out a Shackle Shot, hoping to catch Jo to something, I guess. But you should know there were no creeps up. Maybe just hoping there would be another hero standing behind him, and then that would have been enough. Actually, speaking of going in, Storm Spirit is going to jump right in on TC with that Oblivion Orchid, sorry, taking him out instantaneously, then jumps right in over on Hannah as well. Hannah not having any effect on this. Jo just getting destroyed as well. So 3 heroes go down basically instantaneously. Excellent coordination from CLG, knowing exactly when to jump in with the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit actually still, I assumed that he would have to back out by then, running out of most of his mana, but no, not really. Finishing his kill off the Venomancer as well. The Venomancer is such a low level at this point that he basically goes down in just a couple hits from Bycat, and this is going to be Rax. At the top at least, if not the middle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chen was able to throw his ult so late in that fight. He just was able to wait completely for AA ult to go down, and nobody was even close to death. I mean, they got to like a 3rd health on a couple of support heroes, and that's it. And so he was just able to wait it out, wait for the AA ult to go down, and then just throw all his heals out. And nobody went down for it. Nobody died at all. So no heals wasted and nobody died. So they do take both towers, and that is going to be GG. So CLG does take game 1 Stick with us, guys. We're gonna have game 2 up very, very shortly. It just should be a skip, hop, and a jump pretty much to there. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna just leave this running because last time, yesterday when I was casting with Chappie, we ended it before the score or the stat score at the end, and people wanted to see that. So I guess just gonna leave it running until it ends.
I actually have to go for like 7 or 8 minutes. Are we able to take a break? I'm already in the game, so at the very least I'll miss the picks and bans. But
okay,
if we can we take like a 5-minute break?
Yeah, I'll try to get them to stall.
All right, cool. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, actually, for everyone in the VOD, thanks for watching this. Thanks again to our sponsors, SteelSeries, Twitch TV, and TeamSpeak, for making this tournament possible. And I hope everyone who enjoyed watching this VOD tunes in for the next ones. Thanks.